Okay, we're moving on to the miscellaneous part here. So first one, routine for dismissal. As I mentioned earlier, going to be starting a different routine here where I'm going to make sure that the room is clean top to bottom, and then two, that we don't waste any valuable time. And so we're going to make sure that we are using the majority of the time for instruction. And so we're going to be doing some kind of exit slips. What that looks like, is going to vary from um, games to just vocab review of some sorts to um, to to just different things. I'm still looking into different games and stuff like that. I'm, very interested in a lot of different things that I'm finding. So excited about that. Right now I'm just kind of going brain dead. A little late. And I'm not going to edit that, so sorry. All right. Let's see. Routine for during announcements. Be quiet. Be respectful, and just be there. All right, expectations for group work to make sure all on task. Yeah, I think, if I were you in your shoes, I would make sure that everybody in my group was pulling their weight. I would not want to be the one doing all of the work. So I would hope that if I were you, that you would be speaking up for yourself in some way, some form. So if you don't feel comfortable talking up in front of your peers, then maybe, come and talk to me on the side, or come talk to me one-on-one after class, or even, if you don't want to come then because they may still see you, maybe email me later. That's always a possibility. Somehow, some way, you need to let me know. All right, because that is not fair, especially if your whole group is feeling the same way. Let's see, heading on paper. This is very important, okay? This needs to happen, and it needs to be done the correct way. All right, I want you to have your first and last name. First and last name is not initials. First and last name is not nicknames. All right, I can understand if you're a Nicholas and you go by Nick, that's fine, okay? But it's not JoJo or Billy Bob Sue, all right? It is your name, your last name. It is period, say period 1, and then A or B. It is the date, okay? So those are the things that I need to see. How and when to write down homework. Ooh, hold on 1 second. Back up. All right, backing up. Okay, so heading on the paper. All right, with our subject, with art, okay, we need to think about this. Excuse me. Our heading is not always going to be at the top of a paper, correct? Because we're doing projects. So with the artwork, where is it going to be? It's going to be on the back. All right. If we're doing it on the back of something, especially on white paper, what are we going to use? We're going to use pencil, okay? Some of you last year decided on white paper especially to pull out that Sharpie and to use Sharpie. That's a no-no, okay? Why? Because it bleeds. It'll bleed through, and then all you see is the Sharpie. Nothing about that beautiful picture on the other side. It's all about the Sharpie, all right? And we don't want that. So you need to make sure that you are thinking and not just thinking about, oh my gosh, it's done. Let me just sign it and get it out of my hands. No, just make sure you do the right thing and use the pencil, okay? So sign, or not signing, but, you know, putting your heading on the back of the paper with pencil. All right, so moving on. How and when to write down homework. Well, I would suggest that you write down your homework right away, okay? When you walk into the classroom, things are going to look about the same as what they have in the past. The only difference is that bell work, the class list of, you know, for the agenda and everything is now going to be on the overhead. Okay, so I will no longer have the list of what everybody's doing on the board. What I will have though is a section that says homework for each grade level, okay, for every class. That will not change, okay? So what you will have to do is find where your class list is for homework. And what I would hope you would do is as soon as you walk in, you would open up your agenda book and write down what your homework is if there's something in your area. If there is homework, you're going to leave your agenda book open to that page where you wrote it down so that I can check it. And that's going to be the routine, so that I can check that you wrote it down in your agenda book and mark it in some way before you put it away. Okay, next one. How to get teachers' attention. Well, as I stated before, a lot of people would try and get my attention by either talking over me while I was talking, tapping my shoulder, tugging on my shirt, something like that. Instead of doing all that, what you need to do is politely raise your hand, wait your turn. If I'm not talking to anybody, you can politely, you know, call out my name, all right? But don't call me and say, hey, you, teacher, or something like that. That's not polite. All right, so we are going to use our manners. Next thing, using a pencil. Unless you are told otherwise, we are using a pencil in this class. We are not using anything other than that. Next bullet point, if you are absent, you are going to be looking at the back wall. There is a bulletin board that says, what have I missed? Okay, and there's a calendar. On the calendar, we will be writing your name on the day that you are absent. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to look in the folder that corresponds to the class that you belong to. If you've been absent, there will be papers in that folder if we've done anything that has papers to go along with what we've done for you, okay? At minimum, there will be a paper in there for you that tells you what we did for that day that you'll have to pick up, okay? So you will want to check that class folder if you are ever absent, all right? Now, next one, computer use in the classroom. This, well, sorry about that. Come back. Okay, Computer use in the classroom. There are possibly going to be some computers in our classroom this year. As I mentioned in the procedures packet, we are doing something called flipping this school year. Okay, so there's possibly going to be about 4 computers for our usage a lot of times here, and there is going to be some people that will have a job to take care of them. Okay, now you all obviously need to take care of them. However, they will be in charge of making sure that everybody gets them put back properly, that checking them and making sure that everything's off, and everything else that goes along with it. You are going to be expected to use them appropriately, be respectful and mindful that these are actual devices that are expensive, that it took your teacher a lot of doing to get the use of these devices. So you're going to treat them nicely. Okay? Enough said. All right. Now, next part, daily agenda. As I mentioned before, daily agenda is going to look a little different this time around. It will be on the overhead. So each time you come into class, you're going to want to come in right away, take a look at the daily agenda, because the bell work's going to be on there, and you're definitely going to have bell work each time that's going to be more than just, hey, grab this tool, yada yada, okay? So this year especially, you're going to want to have a sketchbook. We will have things that we're going to be pasting in the sketchbook from your bell work, things that, notes and handouts that we're going to just paste it right into your sketchbook, keep everything in there. All right. Next part, where to find Kleenex, pencil sharpener, bathroom hall passes, and sign out. Kleenex, I'm going to keep one on my desk, and then I'm going to try to get another one and put it probably on the front table by the door. Pencil sharpener, I'm gonna get some and put them out at each of your tables. If you haven't noticed already, which I'm sure you have, I have the little containers again on your desk. They are not toys, so please do not ruin my trash containers or little what are they? Little pails, all right? Trash containers are very cute, so please don't ruin them. Love them. All right. Let's see here. Bathroom hall passes will be on the front table with a green board, because that will be your sign out paper. Your sign out sheets will be there. And then let's see. Next one is the table numbers for each group and seating chart. Let's see. Table numbers for each group are above your heads. So that is going to be consistent. Seating chart is pretty much what I think it needs to be right now. It definitely can and possibly will change while we're working during the quarter. If things get bad where people are not handing in things, I'm definitely going to use the system that I know of where I have a VIP section where those who do not do their work will be sitting in a special area by themselves, and then the rest of the people who have done what they need to do will get to sit wherever they want. So that is open for possibility. Let's see. We have possibility that we can do classroom discussions where we will be discussing artwork, and definitely want to have an environment where everybody feels free to talk. and to communicate